Hello, fellow SaaS monsters and future SaaS monsters. I'm absolutely thrilled to be standing here on stage in front of you today. My name's Stephen Cummins. I'm CEO of AppSelekt, and I have the privilege of introducing some of the greatest entrepreneurs in the world to you this afternoon. We have amazing talks coming up, including talks on metrics. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. We're all interested in what sort of metrics we really should be looking at. We'll have talks on hiring, the science of hiring, when to hire, how to hire. Really excited about that one as well. We're also looking at the future possibilities of edge computing. And also the influence of the App Store, or what the App Store can teach us about digital transformation. So SaaS is huge. It's growing 20% year on year. Our beautiful 2020 vision for the year 2020 is that it'll eclipse 75 billion in value. So we all must be amazing at selling. We must be amazing at innovation, right? Maybe. We're certainly good at spotting a gap in a market, a gap in an industry, and going in and creating an app, building something that will address some use cases, maybe befriending 2 or 3 customers who help us build out something amazing, until we have something that gets legs, and people start coming in through our website. We start hiring salespeople. We start monitoring their forecasts, pushing them, revenue, customer acquisition, revenue, customer acquisition. So we must be great at innovation and sales. Well, I think we're good at the buyer journey. And I think we're good at spotting a problem and swiftly creating a solution for it. What I don't think we're that good at yet is customer success. And I believe that customer success is something you should bring into the heart of your company from day one. Customer success is not just something that happens after sales. It should infiltrate everything in your company. And I'm going to argue that we should do that from day one. At the beginning of 2003, I joined a startup in Dublin. It was called Salesforce.com. And Salesforce actually set up the Dublin office within 1 year of San Francisco. So it's not well known, but Dublin was really part of Salesforce as a startup. In my initial position, I had to deliver training all over Europe. I was a one-man training department. We were that small. And the reason I was in that position was I'm blessed or cursed with the ability to speak different languages. And it was an exhausting initiation into an industry that was being created at the time. I remember after 3 or 4 months delivering training to Salesforce administrators and users in 5 different cities, in 5 different languages in Europe in 1 week. Software AG was that customer. And I remember being absolutely exhausted at the end of it. But most of it was thrilling, and all of it would have been okay, only for one thing. There was a problem. A minority of the sales guys were being allowed to sell Salesforce licenses without any professional services. So not configured to the customer's needs. And this is back in 2003. So if you can imagine the situation, I land at a customer's place. I've got 3 days, a 3-day training gig. The Salesforce instance has been configured a little bit and badly, and there's some data in it. And I just can't deliver training on it because it's not aligned to their business needs. So I have to get all the key stakeholders together and convince them that we need to renegotiate what I'm there for. So we spend a whole day doing a solution discovery. I go home, I stay up all night configuring and testing, and it was eminently configurable even in 2003, this instance of Salesforce. I come back in the next day, and you still have to spend half a day presenting that back to the key stakeholders and tweaking it, and maybe I get a day and a half to deliver the training. And maybe I get a good night's sleep on the 3rd night. So it was killing me. Now, so employee success is important too. So at the very beginning, employee success for me wasn't there, even though I was part of something amazing. Now, at the same time, a guy in Dublin who was one of the co-founders of the Dublin office of Salesforce EMEA, called Dave Dempsey, was crunching some numbers and realized that Salesforce had a problem, not completely unrelated to that. They had a 7.5% attrition rate, which meant they were losing their customers in a year. Now, if you can imagine, it was easy not to spot that because they were growing 400 or 500% per annum. And SaaS was completely new. They were writing the book on it. So he put together a very dark presentation. He painted a dark vision of the future if we didn't do something about it. And he went across the pond and presented to the C-suite of Salesforce. And forevermore, they called him Dr. Doom after that, which we all thought was funny in Dublin. Anyway, Mark Benioff listened to him and said, OK, Dave, I know there's a problem. Why don't you go back to EMEA, set up a team to solve that problem, and if you can solve it there, we'll adopt it company-wide. He went back to Dublin. He got 3 of us together, including myself, and he created the first customer success management team. We were all called customer success managers. If you go to Wikipedia, they'll tell you that didn't happen until 2010 or something. Well, this was the start of 2004, 1 year later. So we got in with customers, the medium ones, the medium-sized and the large ones. We got to understand what good business outcomes for them were. We got to start building processes around onboarding people. And we started to create templates for different industries and for different situations. We started to make it easier to go in and make our customers successful by listening to them. Customer success, so as a result of that, within 12 to 18 months, the attrition was reduced down to less than 1%, from 7.5%. That's really true. And before it had even hit that, Mark Benioff was convinced, and from then on, he became maniacally focused on customer success. And that grew into something called Customer for Life, which encompassed all the departments in the company. So customer success is not just onboarding and processes and tech enablement and account management. It's not just an after-sales thing. Customer success is about asking and caring about and listening to and doing something about what your customers and your partners and your employees care about. What's success for them? It's about understanding what good personal outcomes and business outcomes are for those people. And if you do that, I'd argue you have the greatest strategy in the world for optimal innovation and optimal sales. If you do that, you won't just renew your customers. You won't just upsell them and cross-sell them. You won't just get them to become evangelists for you. It's much more than that. You'll become much, much better at innovating smartly and swiftly. Of course you will, because you understand what it is that makes the important people in your business and around your business successful. You'll also become better at setting deliverable and consistent expectation. You'll become much better in the long term at sales. You'll know how to position the right value to the right customers. And that's why I would argue that you should bring customer success into the heart of your company from day one. It is the greatest strategy for optimal sales and optimal innovation. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say about customer success. We have an amazing talk coming up. We're going to have Walter Frick from the Harvard Business Review, and he's going to be interviewing one of the entrepreneurs of the moment, one of the greatest entrepreneurs. And I'm running ahead of time here, so I don't want to say his name. I'm running 45 seconds ahead of time. Just to let you know how successful Salesforce were, just to get myself out of that, they're a $74 billion market cap company, and at that size, they are dwarfed by their own ecosystem. Utterly dwarfed. They're ranked #1 by Forbes almost every year. Tesla beat them 2 years, across every industry. And that all comes from a maniacal focus on customer success. So, now I think it is time for me to introduce the guys. I'd like you to welcome onto stage Walter Frick from the Harvard Business Review. And he's going to be interviewing one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time, an entrepreneur who really knows how to bring customer success, Stuart Butterfield from Slack.